Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast, a personal journey of faith, freedom, and finding purpose through Orthodox Christian living. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. In today's episode on Tuesday, September 16th, we are going to be talking about something that has been talked about a lot recently by a lot of different people, and that is the shooting of Charlie Kirk. This is something that I have been a little bit reluctant to talk about myself, but it is something that I have posted about on social media to a certain extent. And I will share with you the response that I have received on account of my posting and exactly what it is that I've posted about in the first place. But before we begin talking about this particularly sensitive topic, I think that it's only right to begin today's episode with a prayer so that the words that I speak are not my words, but that they are guided by the Holy Spirit and they come out right and they come out true, and that everyone understands that it is my intent to simply share the experience that I've had with this tragic occurrence and what we can gain from it and what we can learn from it and how we can grow from it. With that said, let's pray. O Heavenly King, Comforter, the Spirit of truth, who art everywhere present and fillest all things, the treasury of good things and giver of life, come and abide in us and cleanse us from every stain and save our souls, O gracious Lord. Now, in order to get a little bit of insight into the Charlie Kirk shooting, I think that it is worth sharing a little bit of information on how I am going to talk about this with you. So allow me to share my screen. And the thing that I wanted to do was simply do a simple Google search on Charlie Kirk shooting. And what comes up is a number. I simply wish to relay facts as I understand them. And despite the fact that Wikipedia is not the best source of information, I am going to read what is on Wikipedia because at this point in time, there is a lot of uncertainty, and this is as good of a source of information as anything else. And for the purposes of our discussion today on this show, that is what we are going to talk about. And as far as the dinging in the background, please forgive me. I am working on a laptop in the cabin due to the fact that I have no internet in the office, and the audio quality and the video quality might not be exactly what you are used to due to the fact that I am working off of a laptop and headphones. And you will also notice that there is no intro music, there is no outro music. This is going to be a very bare bones episode today. And I hope that you enjoy the content rather than the quality, because that is the purpose of today's episode. So let's return to what Wikipedia has to say about the killing of Charlie Kirk. And for those of you who are on Patreon, you can see the video. For those of you who are not, please consider joining Patreon at t.me/allaroundgrowth, and you can learn more on how to support the show. with that said, you can join our little community on Telegram at t.me/allaroundgrowth and participate in a community of a little more than 50 people who are actively involved with the community there. And when you sign up for and to support the show on Patreon, you get a lot of content that is behind the scenes, uh, video access to the episodes, as well as monthly member only calls where we talk about anything and everything that you want to talk about. So if that sounds appealing, then first and foremost, join us on Telegram at t.me/allaroundgrowth. Learn more about the Patreon community and consider joining us on Patreon at patreon.com/allaroundgrowth. And furthermore, there is also exclusive access to a Telegram group solely for Patreon subscribers. So Sean, Kiriki, Rachel, Wayne, thank you guys for being Patreon supporters. I sincerely appreciate your help. Without you guys, the show would not be possible. And that is it. Thank you guys for your support. And I appreciate your consideration, all of you who are considering supporting the show moving forward. Now, as far as Charlie Kirk is concerned, I am simply going to read what Wikipedia has to say. On September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk, an American right-wing political activist, was fatally shot while addressing an audience on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, United States. The outdoor event was the first stop of the season for his American Comeback Tour, a speaking and debate series planned by Turning Point USA, a conservative organization he co-founded. While engaging with an audience member about mass shootings in the United States, Kirk was shot in the neck by a gunman who was on the roof of a building some 142 yards away. He was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. A suspect, 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson, was arrested on September 12th and is believed to be the only person involved. Bullets recovered from the rifle, believed to be the murder weapon, were inscribed with various messages from internet culture. The killing was highlighted as an instance of increasing political violence within the United States and prompted widespread condemnation. Video footage from the shooting spread rapidly on social media, and reactions from the left and right ranged from heartfelt messages, anguish about the political climate, and sharply partisan commentary. President Donald Trump and other Republicans or conservative figures immediately blamed Democrats and left-wing or liberal beliefs and called for retribution. People celebrating Kirk's death were exposed online and compiled in lists, which soon expanded to policing criticism of Kirk in general. We've got equipment moving outside with this driveway project, and that is why the dog is barking. Now, there is some additional background on the show. There is some additional planning and some additional information about the shooting. I won't get into that. If you are interested in reading, hey, enough. If you are interested in reading more, I will link to more of this in the comments. But for now, I think that you get the point. There is the background about Charlie Kirk and the shooting. First and foremost, what I have to say about this is it is a tragedy, okay? It is tragic when anyone at any time gets killed for any reason, for apparently no reason. Here was a man who was in a public forum speaking publicly about things that some people don't like to hear. Okay. That's that's at the core of what's going on. I understand that some people think he spoke messages of hate. I understand that some people think, quite frankly, I understand that a lot of people have great disdain for the man and feel that he was a white supremacist, a bigot, a Nazi, a misogynist, whatever term that you want to uh, consider him. That's what a lot of people call him. Personally, I am not overly familiar with Charlie Kirk and the work that he's done. I can sincerely say that I have not watched uh, uh, an entire debate of his. And one of these videos that he's done in one of his public forum settings, the extent of what I know about him is limited to small clips in the form of YouTube shorts or Facebook reels. And as far as I can tell, the way that he engages with people has generally been uh, polite, respectful, and what people don't seem to like is that he maintains a conservative point of view and a conservative perspective. And due to the fact that he is very skilled in the art of debate, and because of the fact that most other people aren't, he has the ability to shut people down in their arguments about the cases that they are making or the arguments that they are making, and essentially prove them wrong. And because of our egos as humans, we generally don't like that. And our pride has us consistently fighting back. And because we are human and broken, what ends up happening most of the time is we resort to name calling, foul language, insults, and the entire premise of what he's trying to do, which is debate, discourse, and conversation, completely goes off the rails. And that's it. And you know, I understand that what happens is provocative. I understand that what happens is but at the same time, he's a young man. He's been doing this for probably close to a decade, if not longer. And it's his nature as a content creator to do this, uh, to move his cause forward, which is being an activist for conservative movement and conservative values. And that's as much as I know about who Charlie Kirk is and what he stands for. Um, Now that's that's really about it. Uh, I don't know what else I can really say about that. I can say that I was very reluctant to share much of anything about this initially due to the fact that on account of its his provocative nature, right? I didn't want to put anything out there on Facebook because I am not interested in stirring the pot. I am not interested in just engaging in political controversy. You know, speaking of what I'm interested in and what I'm not interested in, what I am interested in doing is, you know, taking the show where I have taken it. And for example, where I've taken the show is in this direction. I have taken the show um for example, let's just look at it. Buzzsprout.com/all around growth. And you're going to see, oh boy, that didn't work. This is what we need to do. That's the link that we need to use. allaroundgrowth.buzzsprout.com. And we can see that there's a new logo. We can see that the tagline of the show is a personal journey of faith, freedom, and finding purpose through Orthodox Christian living. The titles and the taglines of the episodes from most recent moving backwards are New Beginnings, the Orthodox Church Year, Environmental Stewardship and Personal Vocation. September 1st marks the ecclesiastical new year in the Orthodox Church, a date rich with spiritual, historical, and environmental significance. In this episode, host Rob Kaiser explores the Feast of Indiction, etc. In the episode prior to that, we talked about the Dormition of the Theotokos, life, death, and resurrection. And the Dormition of the Theotokos marks Mary's death, resurrection, and glorification, a feast of hope, victory, and deep Orthodox meaning. The episode prior to that was Soil and Spirit, the All Around Growth podcast. That was released on August 5th, where I recapped the July Patreon call, shared the news of my engagement, and revealed a major shift in the podcast focus from homesteading to Orthodox Christian living. And that is when, in August, that is when I decided to really redirect the focus of the show to Orthodox Christian living. Previously, I had talked about Patreon insights, AI, prayer, and building a better life. And that was back in January. And even back then, we can see that we were talking about preparing for a traditional Orthodox house blessing. Orthodox Christian living has become a predominant feature of the show, a predominant innovation of the show. And that is the direction that I have decided to take with the show. Okay. And that is something that I have taken to discussing predominantly on my own personal Facebook page. I have become largely apolitical, and I have used and begun using social media as an outlet to discuss my own spiritual life and my own personal journey through Orthodox Christian living. From time to time, I will share some other things that I find interesting, but quite frankly, most of the time, what I find interesting is what comes up through orthodoxy. And that's the reality that is. However, on the day that Charlie Kirk was shot, there was, like I said, there was work taking place here on the driveway, and I jumped on the golf cart with mom and we looked at the work that was taking place down near the road, the excavation of the apron of the driveway and the grading and the earthworks that were taking place. On the way back, we noticed that our neighbor had his flag flying at half mast, and we thought, what's going on? When we talked about that, and we didn't know. We didn't know why his flag was flying at half mast. Later on, we had come to learn that Charlie Kirk had been shot and was pronounced dead. It was difficult to believe, and there was a lot of content being posted, and a lot of the content being posted was just I don't I don't even know what to say other than it was tragic. It it was it opened a door into our humanity, and it truly exposed who and what we've become as a society and as a culture. And rather than get wrapped up in that, I decided in that moment that I was not going to participate in that. And the following day on September 11th, I had continued that thought process until I saw someone else, a friend of mine from the old time music community, who had posted a video by Jesse Wells, um, titled Charlie. And I will link to this in the 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 show notes for today. But just so those of you can who don't know what I'm talking about can see, I will share my screen and let you guys see exactly what I've posted, because it only gets worse from here. So this is the video from Jesse Wells that I posted, and I posted this on September 11th at 11:10 p.m. and it got very little feedback. Cody, Nancy Dawson, and Steve Larson liked it. 3 people provided some feedback. No big deal, right? So the next day, I posted or shared a video from David Zuder, who is a musician from church. And he makes these little 1-minute videos. And he decided to share one that he made on April 15th, 2022. And what he wrote was, well, honestly, I don't know what he wrote, but I shared it and said, Dona nobis pacem is give us peace. David Zuder wrote it was an appropriate sentiment at the time of the original recording of this video. And I agree that it is also an appropriate sentiment at this time as well. Peace be with you. I'm not entirely sure how to play these videos so that the audio comes through on the Zoom calls, and I'm not in a position to figure out that technology right now. So like I said, I will link to the videos in the show notes for you to watch on your own accord. I am simply showing you what I shared and then showing you what I shared and how and the responses that I got to these things. So that video, 2 people liked it. Excellent. The next thing I shared was a video from St. Gregory Classical Academy, which is an Orthodox Christian school that is started and set to open in fall of 2026. They just secured a location here in the Akron area, and that is very exciting. I'm very excited to see that taking place here in Northeast Ohio. And what they shared was just a short little video called Good Soil and something about what classical Christian education is. Now, here is where things get interesting. I shared a picture, this picture. And for those of you who are listening and can't see the picture, it is a picture with a black background and white text that reads, "You are going to find out a lot about people by their comments on the assassination of a man who encouraged open debate, discussion, and free speech." And I shared that on September 13th. And I shared this because I initially saw this on September 12th on a friend's page. And I witnessed the responses that he got to this photo. And it was repulsive. It was extraordinary. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before in my life. And not only do we learn about the comments from people on their own pages and the comments that they make to other people on other pages, but just the simple comments to a photo like this, the comments that people make to a statement that reads, "You are going to find out a lot about people by their comments on the assassination of a man who encouraged open debate, discussion, and free speech." As far as I can tell, like I said, that is what I know about Charlie Kirk. He encouraged open debate, discussion, and free speech. Many people may not have agreed. Well, may not. Many people did not agree with the topics that Charlie Kirk discussed and facilitated open debates on. And that's okay. However, the what occurred, people celebrating the death of a man, people celebrating the fact that his wife is going to raise 2 daughters alone, people celebrating the fact that the killing of a man took place in a public forum, not unlike times of old, bred in circuses, is just it's quite extraordinary. And it's really indicative of the state of our fallen humanity. And I I simply don't know what to say about that. What I can say is that over the course of 3 days, this particular photo that I posted on September 13th at 7:28 p.m. has received 70 comments and a lot of hate and vitriol, and dozens of people have unfriended me, and people have posted strange things to my Facebook page. And it's been an interesting it's been an interesting time, to say the least. September 14th, I went back to my normal posting, which, because that was Sunday, and the morning of Sunday, prior to the Matin service, I posted a picture of the icon of the elevation of the Holy Cross, which, if you're still with me on video, you can see this, but the accompanying text reads, "The elevation of the Holy Cross. Today, September 14th, the Orthodox Church celebrates one of the great feasts of the year, the elevation or exaltation of the Holy Cross. This feast commemorates two historic events. One, the discovery of the cross by St. Helen, the mother of St. Constantine the Great, on Golgotha in 326 AD. Tradition tells us that Basil, called Basilico, means of the king, and was found growing where the true cross was buried. Through miraculous healings and even the raising of the dead, the cross of Christ was revealed as the life-giving cross. Two, the recovery of the cross in 630 AD, when Emperor Heraclius returned it to Jerusalem after defeating the Persians. With great solemnity, the cross was lifted high for the faithful to see and venerate as the people cried out, Kyrie eleison, or Lord have mercy. And the cross, once an instrument of death, has become the source of life for us, victory and hope through Christ's sacrifice and resurrection. A blessed feast to all, and a special name day greeting for those named Stavros and Stavrila. O Lord, save thy people and bless thine inheritance." Which, for those who don't know, is the beginning of a hymn that is sung every Sunday during the Matins service. And for those who are curious, this is what it sounds like, because I have I am a chanter in the church, and I'm happy to share some of what that might sound like with you, just so you have some familiarity of what an Orthodox service sounds like during the chanting, during the Matin service. Oh, O Lord, save thy people and bless thine inheritance, granting to thy people victory over all their enemies, and by the power of cross, preserving the commonwealth. And that is how the Matin service begins. And that is uh, part of what is part of what is attributed to the feast of the elevation of the cross. Okay, so back to Facebook and back to posting. Um, I thought it was interesting that later on that night, on the on the square, there was a prayer service for Charlie Kirk. And it was tremendous. For those of you who are watching on Patreon, I'm scrolling through some photos that I compiled from a group online locally and some photos that I took myself. But the fascinating thing about this prayer service was that it was assembled in such short time, just in a matter of days, and that in Medina, a town of approximately 30,000 people who live in the city itself and maybe 50,000 in the surrounding area. The number of people that came out was astonishing. According to the Medina Police Department, somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 people came out and attended this event on the Medina Public Square Historic District. So I wrote a post about this particular event and wrote this yesterday. Last night, or wrote this, I wrote this yesterday on Monday, September 15th. Last night, September 14th, 2025, an estimated 2,500 to 3,000 people gathered peacefully in the Medina Public Square Historic District to honor the legacy of Charlie Kirk. The evening was filled with prayer, worship, heartfelt speeches, and moments of silence. For some, it was their first real encounter with Christianity. For others, it was a chance for believers from different faith traditions to come together in unity. I also don't think it's a coincidence that this gathering fell on the feast of the Elevation of the Holy Cross, one of the great feasts of the Orthodox Church. The cross, once a symbol of death, has become for us the source of life, victory, and hope through Christ's sacrifice and resurrection. That spirit was alive last night, and by God's grace, it will continue to live on in all of us who walk this path, unashamed of our faith. O Lord, save thy people and bless thine inheritance. And there was a little bit of reluctance, I will admit, in going to this prayer vigil. But I decided to go with my fiance, Kiriki, and I wanted to attend to show my support and, for lack of a better term, stand in solidarity with other Christians. Because one of the things that I had noticed, and some of the things that had been shared with me, is that many people are using this event, using the shooting of Charlie Kirk, as an opportunity to go to church for the first time. Some people that I know who are active in their churches have mentioned that they saw considerably larger crowds in their churches this past Sunday than they have in the past. So for a lot of people, like I said, this is an opportunity for some people to have their first real encounter with Christianity. And for other people, it is an opportunity for for other Christians, that is, it's an opportunity to come together in unity as Christians. And that's something that I think that we need to do more frequently, is we need to unite in our faith instead of doing what we so frequently do, which is argue about our particular faith tradition of choice, bickering about who's right and who's wrong, and who's a who's a heretic, who's a schismatic, and who's got the right faith, and who's, you know, look, I understand that I am an Orthodox Christian, and I fully understand what Orthodox means. Okay. That doesn't mean that I can't and shouldn't gather with other Christians in a time like this. Times like this demand, in my humble opinion, that we go gather with other Christians. This is a prime opportunity for us as Orthodox Christians to demonstrate orthodoxy in action to those other Christians who continually find themselves seeking something more and longing for something more. Like I said, it is not some kind of some sort of significant action. It's not coincidental that this prayer service, this vigil, this event to honor the legacy of Charlie Kirk fell on the feast of the elevation of the Holy Cross, one of the great feasts of the Orthodox Church. How else are we going to communicate to people the beauty of Holy Orthodoxy? How else are we going to communicate to people that the cross, once a symbol of death, has become for us the source of life, victory, and hope through Christ's sacrifice and resurrection? How else are we going to capitalize on opportunities to be unashamed of our faith? We so frequently understand, acknowledge, and speak of the lack of evangelism in Orthodoxy. And my friends and my brothers and sisters in Christ, this is a prime opportunity to do exactly that and to live Orthodoxy. And when I say live Orthodoxy, I mean simply show up and go to an event like this with people, share photos, explain to people what's going on, and in the process of explaining to people what's going on, let them know that here's how you can find out more. Drop a photo in there of the event that you're talking about, right? Let them know. Come and see. Here's how. Let, oh, looks like the link that I posted didn't even work. Ah, goodness. I'm a, I'm a fool. Um, or maybe it did. And it's just, I clicked on it and it's not working in the way that I intended it to work. Either way, they're going to see the link orthodoxwiki.org, elevation of the Holy Cross, and they will find it. But guys, that's it. Um, I hope that is and luckily, you know, the police presence was strong at this particular event. There was no negative backlash. There was no uh it was a peaceful gathering of people with a lot of people handing out pins, stickers, candles. It was something truly remarkable. And I think that this is a great opportunity for those of us who are Christians to focus on Christianity and not focus on politics. Leave the politics out of this and focus on the faith, because the whole reason why we are becoming so divided from one another and why this split is happening is because we have become distanced from God, and we have lost sight of what it means to live a life in Christ. So when we come back together and live a life in Christ and cultivate that relationship with God and continue to do so, we will mend fences with each other. We will rebuild bridges with each other. We will rebuild friendships. We have a lot of work to do, but it's not work that can't be done. We are the ones that are broken. The reason why we are broken is because of our failed nature and our distanced relationship with God. So if we focus on that and focus on cultivating a relationship with God through Christ and his church, we improve ourselves, we improve our relationships with our family, We improve our relationships with our neighbor. We improve our relationships with our community. We improve and rebuild our society, our family, and we can make a difference. Don't lose hope. Don't let this situation get you down. Don't get caught up in the muck and the trash online. It's not worth it. Utilize this as an opportunity to spread positivity and please join us on Telegram at t.me/allaroundgrowth. And please feel free to spread this episode and spread this message with anybody that you think might benefit from what was heard today. I sure do appreciate you listening. This went a little longer than I was expecting, but it just seemed right and appropriate to share, especially not having a script and not being in my normal environment of recording. So, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you very much for sticking with me throughout the episode today. Take care and let me know what you think and what your experiences have been in the comments below. I very much look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to checking in with you guys and talking with you more online and especially on Telegram. Take care, guys. t.me/allaroundgrowth, patreon.com/allaroundgrowth. And thank you all for your support. Sean, Kiriki, Rachel, and Wayne. Again, thank you guys very much. And check us out if you want to learn more and see the videos. Appreciate you guys. God bless.